Hello everyone and welcome to our little bookish corner on YouTube. Today I'm bringing you a little book haul that I've acquired over the last week. 2 that I've bought at Waterstones, 2 that I bought at a little bookshop in Cockermouth, and 3 that I've got from the library today. So grab something warm and cosy to drink and some snacks. I've got a pumpkin spice latte here, which they have finally come out with in the UK. I have been counting down the days, so I'll be sipping on that throughout the video. And so let's get into the books. The first book is The Quickening by Rhiannon Ward. This one I got last Tuesday and I've actually finished it now. It was an amazing book, brilliant twists and turns, and I thought the ending was so satisfying. It was in the new hardback section at Waterstones, so it's fairly new. I think it came out in February. So it says, an infamous seance, a house burdened by grief, a secret that can no longer stay buried. So it's set in England 1925, but it flashes back in the book to 1896 when a seance happened in this house. And this woman who is pregnant, Louisa Drew, goes to the house to take photos, but it's a house full of mystery, full of ghost tales and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'm selling it very well, but it is a really great book. I love books that are set in different time periods. Do you know what, in fact, I'm just going to read this little blurb to give you a better idea of what the book is about, because I don't know if I sold it too well there. England 1925. Louisa Drew lost her husband in the First World War and her 6-year-old twin sons in the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918. Newly remarried and 7 months pregnant, Louisa is asked by her employer to travel to Clewer Hall in Sussex to photograph the contents of the house for auction. Desperate for money after falling on hard times, she accepts the commission. On arrival, she learns Clewer Hall was host to an infamous seance in 1896, the consequences of which still haunt the family 30 years later. Before the Clewers leave England for good, the lady of the house has asked those who attended the original event to come together to recreate the evening. Louisa soon becomes embroiled in the strange happenings of the house, unravelling the long-held secrets of what happened that night, and she discovers that her own fate is entwined with the Clewer Halls. An exquisitely crafted mystery that invites the reader into the crumbling Clewer Hall to help unlock its secrets alongside the unforgettable Louisa Drew. I hope that sells it a bit better to you. But yes, I thought it was a brilliant book, 10 out of 10. Then the other book that I got from the new hardback section of Waterstones is The Angel of the Crows by Catherine Addison. The blurb of this one is, this is not the story you think it is. These are not the characters you think they are. This is not the book you are expecting. London 1886, you can see a theme here, set in a different time. Angels inhabit every public building and vampires and werewolves walk the streets with human beings in a well-regulated truce. A utopia except for one thing, angels can fall, and that fall is like a nuclear bomb in both the physical and metaphysical worlds. Dr. J.H. Doyle returns to London having been wounded in Afghanistan by a fallen, and finds himself lodging in Baker Street with the enigmatic Angel Crow. But living with a rogue angel is not easy. The pair find themselves drawn into the supernatural and criminal worlds of London, from a man kidnapped by a vampire nest to Jack the Ripper's horrific murders. Besides Doyle's nightmares, there is a lingering worry that Crow might fall. So this sounded super interesting. Of course, it's autumnal. We've got angels, vampires, werewolves. So yes, that sounded really great. And as well, these are hardback. This one was £3 off and this was £2 off. So I got them a bit on sale. But for me, buying myself a hardback is a big thing because I usually don't do it. I usually, if I have a hardback, it's a present or I've got it second hand. So I'm actually really proud of myself for treating myself. And here comes another hardback, which was really a splurge and a treat, which is the book that I'm reading right now. I'm about 100 pages through, and this is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It's a prequel to the Hunger Games. It's set about 60 years earlier, I believe, and it's about President Snow and part of his backstory. It's super, super interesting so far. So I'll read you the blurb on this one as well, so I don't mess it up. It is the morning of the reaping that will kick off the 10th annual Hunger Games. In the capital, 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow is preparing for his one shot at glory as a mentor in the games. The once mighty House of Snow has fallen on hard times, its fate hanging on the slender chance that I'm just going to call him Snow, I cannot say his name, that Snow will be able to outcharm, outwit and outmaneuver his fellow students to mentor the winning tribute. The odds are against him. He has been given the humiliating assignment of mentoring the female tribute from District 12, the lowest of the low. Their fates are now completely intertwined. Every choice Snow makes could lead to favour or failure, triumph or ruin. Inside the arena, it will be a fight to the death. Outside the arena, Snow starts to feel for his doomed tribute and must weigh his need to follow the rules against his desire to survive no matter what it takes. So far, it's super, super interesting, a backstory that you wouldn't have expected for Snow, considering how he acts in the following books. And as well, it's interesting to see how Suzanne Collins imagined the beginning of the Hunger Games. Like they don't treat the tributes at all like what we see in the newer films. Newer books. The books set later on. They're treated like animals, and it was really It's really shocking to read, but really, really interesting so far. Absolutely gripped. As you can see, it's quite a hefty book. It's 500 odd pages. I said it was 100 pages through, and it's hardly any. I was looking. When you put your bookmark in, and you're like, I wonder how far through I am, and it's like. But yeah, it's definitely a gripping read. So then the other book that I got from the Cockermouth Bookshop, that was one that I got from the Cockermouth Bookshop. It's called The New Bookshop, and it's an independent bookshop. So definitely would recommend there. They've got a really nice cafe as well. So this book is part of the Gothic genre, I believe. It's Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, I believe. So, on a trip to the south of France, the shy heroine of Rebecca falls in love with Maxime de Winter, a wealthy, handsome widower. But as they arrive at Mandalay, his Cornish mansion, a change comes over Max, and the young bride is filled with dread. Friendless in the isolated house, she realises that she barely knows the man she has married, and in every corner of every room is the phantom of his first wife, Rebecca. And I thought it sounded absolutely brilliant, so got it. My camera battery is flashing, so I'm going to have to hurry up through these next ones. The next one is Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote, I believe. So, meet Holly Golightly, a free-spirited, lopsided, romantic girl about town, with her tousled blonde hair, or tousled, I'm unsure how to say that word, and upturned nose, dark glasses and chic black dresses. Holly is a style sensation wherever she goes. Her apartment rocks to martini-soaked parties, and she plays hostess to millionaires and gangsters alike. Yet Holly never loses sight of her ultimate dream, to find a real-life place like Tiffany's that makes her feel at home. Full of sharp wit and exuberant, larger-than-life characters, which vividly capture the restless, madcap era of 1940s New York, Breakfast at Tiffany's will make you fall in love, perhaps for the first time, with a book. So, I've watched the film, I thought I'd read the book, sounds great. I've realised pretty much every single one of these books is set in a different time. All of them being past or being kind of dystopian worlds. The next book I have been umming and ahhing about getting, so I thought I'd get it as a library book, which is what I got, where I got Breakfast at Tiffany's as well. So it is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I'm sure we've all heard of this book. I thought it was quite like how I feel about The Handmaid's Tale, in that it's not necessarily something I'm particularly interested in, but because it's a classic, it's definitely something to read so I can discuss in book groups. So it's about Humbert, a European intellect adrift in America. He is a middle-aged college professor. Haunted by memories of a lost adolescent love, he falls outrageously and eventually illegally in lust with his landlady's 12-year-old daughter, Dolores Hayes. Obsessed, he'll do anything, will commit any crime to possess his Lolita. But once Lolita belongs to Humbert, once he has got what he wants, what next? And what of Lolita? How long is she willing to be possessed? So, quite a dark subject. And then the last book is a book that my boyfriend actually picked out for me to get at the library. And honestly, so proud of him because it's set in a different time, it's murder mystery, and honestly, brilliant job. Brilliant job, Joseph. Just shows he knows me well. He said, definitely get it. So I did. So this is Sacrilege by S.J. Paris. In the pursuit of power, nothing is sacred. And look at that. Beautiful. I just love it. London, 1584. Giordano Bruno travels to Canterbury for love, but finds only murder. Bruno is being followed by the woman he once loved, Sophia Underhill, accused of murder and on the run. With the leave of the Queen's spymaster, he sets out to clear Sophia's name. But when more brutal killings occur, a far deadlier plot emerges. A city rife with treachery, a relic steeped in blood. His hunt for the real killer leads to the shadows of the cathedral, England's holiest shrine, and the heart of a sinister and powerful conspiracy. Heretic, maverick, charmer, Giordano Bruno is always on his guard, never more so than when working for Queen Elizabeth and her spymaster, for this man of letters is now an agent of danger and intrigue. So this sounded brilliant, especially for this spooky time of year. A good murder mystery is definitely great. So yes, an autumnal kind of book haul, because I believe this is set in New York in the fall as well. So this is the end of my book haul / a kind of autumn TBR. Feel free to leave a comment below of any books that you have gotten recently or are recommending for the autumn time. And yes, so I will see you in my next video. Bye!